You've never felt at home in this world, not once. There's a tiredness that has nothing to do with sleep, the rush, the noise, the pressure to keep up with a race you never agreed to run. You've built a life here. You function. You even do well by most measures. And still, none of it has ever fully fit. Not because you're ungrateful. Not because you're difficult. Just because the way this world moves has never matched the way you actually experience it. Standing in a crowded room, surrounded by noise everyone else seems to feed on, you feel something closer to exhaustion than energy. Scrolling through a life that looks, on paper, exactly the way it's supposed to, and still sensing that something underneath it has never quite landed. You've smiled through conversations about moving faster, achieving more, staying constantly available, and quietly wondered if you were the only one who found none of it convincing. So why does the entire shape of modern life feel like it was built for someone else? Think about how long you've actually carried this. Not a bad week, not a rough month. A lifelong sense that the things everyone else seems to move toward, status, speed, constant noise, more of everything, never quite made sense to you the way they clearly made sense to almost everyone around you. You've watched people chase promotions that meant nothing to you, celebrate purchases that left you cold, treat busyness itself like a badge of honor. That's not cynicism. That's not ingratitude for modern comfort. There's a specific reason this disconnect has followed you for as long as you can remember, into every job, every conversation, every scroll through a feed that was supposed to make you feel connected instead of hollow. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what that reason is. Most people assume feeling out of place in the modern world means something is wrong with them, that they haven't adapted, haven't caught up, haven't learned to enjoy what everyone else enjoys. But think about it. Adaptation isn't the same as alignment. You can function perfectly inside a system whose values simply aren't yours. Show up, perform, even succeed by its measures, while something underneath never once agrees with any of it. What you've been feeling was never a flaw in you. It was a mismatch between your internal values and the external expectations you were handed, without ever being asked whether they fit. Feeling out of place often reflects a difference in values, not a personal flaw. And it shows up in exactly 3 ways. This sense of misalignment didn't appear recently, and it didn't appear by accident. Think about it. Most people who feel this disconnect noticed it early. A specific unease during the parts of life everyone else seemed to move through easily. Crowded rooms that felt too loud before anyone else seemed bothered. Small talk that felt like static, while everyone around you treated it like connection. A pace of achievement that felt more like running than living, even as people congratulated you for keeping up with it. Maybe you sat through years of career advice that never once mentioned whether any of it would actually make you feel like yourself. You didn't choose to notice the mismatch. You simply couldn't unfeel it once you had. Every time you went along with the pace anyway, took the job, joined the noise, performed the urgency, some part of you kept quiet score of how much it cost you. That's not maladjustment. That's values that were never negotiable, even during the years you tried hardest to negotiate with them. The first place this shows up is speed. The urgency everyone else seems to feel about deadlines, milestones, staying constantly ahead. You can perform it when you need to, but it never feels natural. Something in you has always moved at a different rhythm, one that doesn't confuse motion with progress. You've sat in meetings built entirely around urgency for its own sake, watched people mistake exhaustion for dedication, and quietly wondered why slower never seemed to count as a legitimate way to live. The second place this shows up is in what people chase. Status, appearances, constant acquisition of things that get replaced before they're even worn out. You can understand why others want it. You've simply never felt the pull yourself, and pretending to want it has always felt like wearing a costume borrowed for the occasion. You've stood in rooms full of people comparing what they own, what they've achieved, what they're chasing next, and felt something closer to distance than envy. The third place this shows up is connection itself. Endless notifications, constant availability, the expectation that you're reachable every hour of every day, where others feel plugged in. You feel drained, like all that noise is competing for space with something quieter you'd much rather be listening to. You've noticed how a single hour of real silence restores you more than an entire evening of scrolling ever could, and wondered why the world keeps insisting it should be the other way around. So how do you stop treating this mismatch as a personal failure? Not by trying harder to enjoy what doesn't fit, by naming clearly what you actually value separate from what you've been told to want. Step 1. List 3 things society values that have never made sense to you. Step 2. List 3 things you actually value, even if no one else seems to notice or reward them. Step 3. Compare the 2 lists side by side. The distance between them is not a defect of yours. It's proof that you've always had your own compass, even while living in a world that keeps pointing in another direction entirely. The truth is, you were never failing to adapt. You were accurately sensing a mismatch between who you are and what the world around you kept asking you to want. And that sensitivity was never the problem. That discomfort was never a flaw. It was clarity, arriving quietly, long before you had the language to explain it, long before anyone gave you permission to trust it. Every time you felt out of step, unimpressed by what was supposed to impress you, tired by what was supposed to energize you, that wasn't failure to belong. That was your own values, quietly refusing to be replaced, holding their shape no matter how many times the world tried to talk you out of them. Maybe the question was never, why don't I fit in? The real question is, what would my life look like if I finally stopped apologizing for the values I never actually lost?